Militia, we need to have a toolbox talk about the most dangerous thing you'll ever carry onto a job site. It's not a flawed harness, it's not a leaking tank, and it's not a frayed lead. It's your ego. There is a massive life and death difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence is knowing your tools, knowing your limits, and knowing your worth. Arrogance is thinking the rules don't apply to you because you've been doing this for 20 years. In the working militia, your ego is a liability. It's a blindfold that prevents you from seeing the hazards, hearing the advice, and catching the mistakes that are about to wreck your day. Today, we are going to dismantle the know-it-all mindset before it dismantles your career. We are going to learn why the most powerful person on the site is often the one who isn't afraid to say, "I don't know. Let's check the manual." The ego trap usually sets in right after you've achieved a bit of mastery. You've moved past the rookie stage, you've got your certifications, and you've had a string of successful projects. You start to feel invincible. You start thinking that the boring safety procedures are for the new kids. You start taking shortcuts because you've done it 1,000 times. That is exactly when the trap springs. The moment you stop respecting the danger of the craft is the moment the craft bites back. I've seen master electricians get bit by a circuit they were sure was dead because they were too proud to use a meter. I've seen crane ops tip rigs because they thought they could feel the weight better than the computer could calculate it. Their ego told them they were bigger than the physics of the job. Physics doesn't care about your experience, militia. It only cares about the truth. Let's talk about the junior-senior dynamic. This is where the ego causes the most damage to the crew. I've seen veterans treat helpers like garbage, refusing to listen to a valid concern just because it came from someone with no time in the seat. Remember the story about the girl in the cribbing? If that crew had let their egos lead, they would have ignored a genius solution just because it came from a rookie. In the working militia, we value the truth over the title. If the apprentice sees a safety violation, the foreman needs to listen. If the new guy has a more efficient way to route the cable, the lead hand needs to consider it. When you let your ego shut down communication, you aren't being a leader, you're being a bottleneck. A true warrior is always a student. The second you think you have nothing left to learn is the second you become obsolete. For the women of the militia, the ego trap looks a little different. Sometimes because you feel the pressure to prove you belong, you might feel like you can't ask for help. You might think that admitting you don't know something is a sign of weakness that the guys will pounce on. Listen to me. Asking for clarity is a sign of intelligence. The most respected person on the site isn't the one who pretends to know everything. It's the one who ensures the job is done right the first time, even if that means asking a dumb question. Don't let your ego compromise the quality of the work. Your signature of steel needs to be perfect, and perfection requires the humility to seek the right answer. I remember a guy named Big Mac. Mac was a legendary welder, could weld the crack of dawn if you gave him the right rod. But Mac had an ego that was bigger than his rig. We were working on a high-pressure steam line, and a young inspector pointed out a tiny inclusion in one of Mac's welds. Instead of fixing it, Mac went on a 10-minute tirade about how he'd been welding since the inspector was in diapers. He refused to grind it out. He pulled rank. He used his reputation as a shield. Well, that line went live, and that tiny inclusion became a catastrophic failure that shut down the plant for a week and nearly killed 2 maintenance techs. Mac didn't just lose his job, he lost his name. His ego cost him the only thing an honest man truly has, his integrity. He let his pride become a ghost in the machine that worked against him. To the men, being tough doesn't mean being stubborn. Real toughness is the ability to admit when you're wrong. Real toughness is being able to take a correction from a subordinate without losing your cool. Your ego is a noisy thing. It wants to defend itself, it wants to be right, and it wants to be noticed. The working militia operates with quiet professionalism. We don't need the spotlight, we need the results. We don't need to be the smartest person in the room, we need to be the most effective. How do you fight the ego trap? You practice active humility. Every morning, remind yourself that the site is a living, changing beast that can kill you if you get complacent. Approach every task like it's your first time doing it. Double-check the obvious. Listen to the quiet voices on your crew. And most importantly, keep your focus on the hunt, not the hunter. You are there to provide for your family and build the world, not to feed your own self-importance. When the ego tries to take the wheel, remind it that it doesn't have a seat in the working militia. Tonight, I want you to look back at your shift. Did you shut someone down because of your pride? Did you ignore a procedure because you thought you were above it? If you did, own it. Go back tomorrow and make it right. Apologize to the rookie. Reread the manual. Retighten the bolt. There is no shame in being a student. There is only shame in being a fool who thinks he's a master. We are a unified force, and we stay united by respecting the craft more than we respect ourselves. Stand humble, stand sharp, and keep learning. The site is the greatest teacher you'll ever have. If you're man or woman enough to listen, stand fast, militia.